Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can everybody hear me? I have the Harambe system resistance bands here. It's connected to a Tyndek dynamometer. I'm going to be testing the resistance bands based upon a request from a subscriber. The Tyndek, this piece here, is a force measurer. I'm not sure if that's the right way to say that, measurer. And the resistance bands are by Harambe System. I have multiple different resistance bands here from them. I'm going to be testing a few of them today. I do have some questions for the people because, I don't have the biggest brain out there. So there is some questions I have regarding my setup here. Let me just talk about the setup now briefly. If you're just getting in here, let me know if you could hear me and see me okay. I'm sharing the screen also. That's the Tyndek app. That's going to give us our force output reading in real time. So I have a rope connected to the Tyndek system, connected to a carabiner, connected to the resistance band. I'm starting with the heavy green band. That's the heaviest Harambe system band I have. I'm starting heavy and then I'm going to work my way light. I just tested out before I went live on air, so just to make sure that it works okay. This is not the ideal setup. And again, I have a couple questions for the people. So let's just get started here. I'm going to start with a deadlift. And loop this underneath. Hello, can you hear me? The one person that's on, can you see me? Is everything working and looking okay? Here's the deal. Follow me here. First of all, we have to consider that we have to take into account the Tyndek, the inches that the Tyndek is taking from the resistance band. So once I get into the deadlift, this is going to be less force output than if I were to not have the Tyndek system set up to it. I hope that makes sense. Also, because it's set up on one side, is it only reading the force output from this side? Or is it getting the full force output from the full band? All right, that's the question I have right now. And I need you guys to help me figure this out. Let's begin. Can you see this? All right, here. Let me just make sure. We're going to, like I said, we're going to start with new session. Okay, we're going to do a 1-minute exercise here, and I'm going to give myself 15 or 16 seconds to get set up. Okay, here we go. Again, the heaviest band that I have from Harambe system attached to the Tyndek unit. You'll see what I'm talking about here. So the deadlift. It's going to start reading now for me. And at the top, it looks like we're at about 145 pounds. Slowly lowering, and we're letting off of tension. I'm going to get it down to maybe like 25, 20 pounds, and then we're back up to the top. Again, it's still only reading about 140 pounds at its tightest, at its most tense position. Back down to 6. Back up top here. So you can see a drastic fall off. Of course, that's just how the resistance bands work. And then we're back up to the top. I'm going to hold it here at the top. So once again, I'm still only getting about 130 pounds of force output here. And slowly lowering down. So let's discuss. My max output there was 145 pounds. G, Harambe, green, deadlift. Let's take a look at that right now, actually. Okay, so the resistance bands, variable resistance. This is what we have here. This is the beauty and the downfall of resistance bands. At the top here, at the peak force output, where your body is in its strongest position at the top of a deadlift, that's where the resistance bands are strongest. Then as you slowly lower, you get a longer moment arm. You're getting weaker and weaker and weaker in this position, and the resistance band is getting weaker, weaker, weaker in that position. So we're up to 140 down to 20. Why is this great? Because as your body gets weaker, the band gets weaker. As your body gets stronger, the band gets stronger, right? Great. However, this drastic fall off is not an even application of tension, okay? And this is why I love isometrics, is because there's no drastic fall off. Okay, so for the people that are on right now, this is what I'm trying to figure out. Because I have the Tindex system set up on one side of the band, is it only calculating half of the force output because I'm on one side of the band? Or is 145 pounds our max at the deadlift? Is this a proper reading? That's something we're going to figure out here. Okay, let's go into the squat. So you guys all saw that. Pretty cool, right? We'll start a new session with the squat. We're going to get in a front-loaded position for the squat. Now, another thing to note is this side has the sling. The sling is made for the Harambe system. This side does not have the sling because I couldn't use my P-brain to figure out a way to use the sling on this side with the Tindex unit. But I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. I'm not a scientist, not a mathematician. I'm just a regular guy with a regular brain, about an average size brain. Big head, average size brain. Let's go into the front squat. New session. I'm going to do about 60 seconds of time under tension. Okay, let's see what we get here. Matter of fact, the Harambe system wedges. I'm going to wedge my feet slightly here. Okay. Again, front squat position. As you can see, I'm only reading 48 pounds at the top. I point my toes straight ahead. And then 28 pounds there, 45 pounds at the top. So I think this is an incorrect measurement of force output, because I'll be honest with you guys, this feels a lot more than 40 pounds. I'm going to do 2 more reps. One more rep. Okay. Set that down. And let that lapse. 4, 3, 2, 1. And close out here. Let's save this. Harambe, squat, green. Tell you one thing though, the heart rate is up pretty good. Not gonna lie to you. So let's take a look at this here. My max force output read 55 pounds there. Unfortunately, that cannot be right, because it definitely felt like a lot more than 55 pounds. So once again, you can see the variable resistance going up and down, which is what we want from the resistance bands. Maybe I can get in touch with an engineer. Is anybody here an engineer? Or just like someone who has a beyond a base level of common sense to help me figure this out? I think ideally a force plate is going to give us our best read. If you're just logging on, I'm using the Tindex Dynamometer to record the force output of the resistance bands, the Harambe system's resistance bands. So I'm doing this live so you guys can be along for the ride of the experiment of this. I don't want to come off like I know everything. You know, I think it's cooler as the viewer to see the trials and errors of someone like me. So I'm not going to give up on this yet. I'm going to try one more resistance band, and I'll do one more exercise for the people. How's that sound? Is that fair for everybody? Okay. I think I'm going to use, I'll use the white band, and we're going to do a shoulder press. We're going to do a standing shoulder press. I'll show you, while I have you here, I might as well show you what it's like to set up the Harambe system. So the sling comes off. Like I said before, I don't have the sling on this side because the Tindeck is on this side. So I have a carabiner connected directly to the resistance band. Okay, the green band comes out. The white band goes in. I'm going to do a standing shoulder press. The reason why I'm going to do a standing shoulder press is that is going to give me the most distance from the foot plate to the top of the exercise. So I'll have the white band at its most tense position. Also, to take into account how tall I am, I'm 5'8". So if someone was 6'4" doing this, they're going to have more resistance at the top. Let's get this set up here. New session. Start session. Okay. Here we go. As you can see here, this is a part of the problem. The sling is here. The carabiner is here. There's a difference there. Okay, so it's reading about 10 pounds. Let me get it into this position, 20 pounds, pressing it overhead, and we're at 25 pounds. So I don't know if this is right, but this is just for experimental purposes. I'm sure that Harambe system, I'm sure he's done the proper testing for all the resistance bands that he has. That information is online. But like I said before, I have a subscriber that asked and requested that I use the Tindeck system on the Harambe bands just to get a read here. And my there is 26 pounds, which is maybe right. I don't know. Again, looking for an engineer, mathematician, or just someone who's smarter than me to let me know what I'm doing wrong and if there's any way to set this up so I can get the most accurate of readings. Let's save this. Let's see here. Harambe, shoulder press, white band. Save, we'll take a look at it. So the max there was 26 pounds. The average was 18. And here you can see the variable resistance in real time. So definitely worth the time, my time and your time. If I can figure out the right way to do this to get a proper reading. The thing about the Harambe bands is it's such an excellent exercise. None of this probably matters at all. But I like to experiment with things, and I think my subscribers appreciate that. So let's continue on with the party. Please like and subscribe, comment below with what you found in this video or anything else you'd like to see me experiment with. I'll do the best that I can with the tools that I have. I have the ISO Max, the ISO Fit, the Harambe system, and the Tindeck. So if you want me to see me experiment with any of that, please let me know. I have many videos on my YouTube, Scampo and Training, that highlight these different tools. I also do Zoom calls and Zoom online training. I can put you through a 30-minute set if you have the ISO Max or if you have any of these tools. Follow me on Instagram, Scampone Training, or comment below. Like and subscribe. Thank you for your time. Over and out.